Good morning, Loganites. So today is Sunday of week 3. I just finished week 3 of Nurse Practitioner School. It's been a lot. We wrote papers, had to read a lot. One of my instructors actually just sent an email Thursday. It's Sunday. I didn't see the email from Thursday till Saturday about he's changing what he wants to see in one of the discussion boards. I'm not gonna lie, man, I was mad. I was like, what the hell? Like, you can't tell someone that you're gonna change the grading rubric a day before it's due. And I already seen it after the fact. So I was like, well, I'm ready to raise Cain, but I'm not until I see my grades. Well, I just checked my grades this morning, and you know what? It's 100. It's 100. It's perfect. So I can't complain about anything. I know this the setting might be a little different. I should probably address that. We're in Ella, Georgia, and let me just show you around a little bit real quick. We're here for my sister-in-law's wedding, and this is the cabin. Beautiful, right next to this river. Also beautiful. So, I figured before we get finished packing up, before we get finished packing up, I might as well just hop on here and check in with everybody. The class is good, the grades are good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in this theory class, and the first half of the book is like the history of theory and philosophy, and I'm not liking it. Well, I mean, I like the fact that it's thought-provoking, but then you have to write a paper on it, and I feel like we're arguing bullshit, for lack of a better word, because there's like this whole point in philosophy. It's like, is the color red that I see the same red that you see? How do we know? If we make these observations with our eyes, how can we ever really trust what our brain interprets it is to be true? Right? Because your eyes are just instruments for visual processing. Right? It's a camera. The very first camera ever built was your eye. So that whole philosophical thing. My whole point is, I don't care. Because as long as we agree what we're seeing is red, does it really matter if what we're seeing is truly different? But you can't do that because you're in a doctorate program, and you actually have to be able to back up. You have to be able to take a stance and then back up the stance, even if I don't have a stance. Because I don't care if the same color we see is red. I do think it's thought-provoking, but like, what does it change? If the answer, what's it going to change? I don't know, and that's part of my issue. Is like, I'm like, hey man, like, I'm a simple dude. Like, trauma, science, blood, let's do it. I feel like I'm arguing BS. That's the only downside to this theory class. Other than that, man, work's getting pretty rowdy, y'all. Work is getting pretty rowdy. There's management changes. I work in dialysis, right? I was approached by the dietitian and the social worker. They're like, hey, the boss sucks. She's never there. And I was like, yeah, I know this. They're like, here's a list of numbers to call if you would like to complain. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know the social worker and dietitian felt like this. I just thought they were like hunky-dory, all a part of the same, problem, but they're not. I guess because they go to other clinics, they kind of see that even for a low bar in dialysis, it is a low bar for some reason. It shouldn't be, but it is. She's even lower than that low bar. So, that was interesting. I didn't know that the social worker or dietitian could have like that much of a backbone, Which is it's kind of like mean to say, but like realistically, like they don't in hospital. They don't usually have. They don't make up a big enough portion of the team that their opinion counts for much. And honestly, in hospital, if you're not a nurse, your opinion doesn't matter. Because like when I was a medic in the hospital, if you're not a nurse, like there's Nurse Appreciation Week. If you're a nurse, you get invited to this. Oh, you're not an RN, you don't get jack crap. So that's something to be said about that can be changed, because let's be real. And they always say in the hospital, if we didn't have EVS people, the people that change the trash, the hospital wouldn't run. And it's true, but no one ever appreciates them. So here we are back to this position where I was surprised that the dietitian and social worker felt so strongly and are actually pushing to change things. So I have now been given the regional manager's phone number, and I think I'm gonna have to call. I think the manager's been so negligent that it is affecting or will affect patient care, and if I don't say something, I'll be a bad nurse. So I think I'm gonna have to address that, which is crazy that this is even an issue, because I went part-time 2 days a week for nurse practitioner school. 2 days a week. I'm like, every day I'm off, I'm like reading and doing stuff. I shouldn't have to deal with this. But here we are in the situation where if I don't deal with it, if something goes wrong, I feel like that's kind of on me, even if I'm not there, you know, even if it wasn't my fault or if I wasn't involved. I saw that there was a problem where the director or the manager, whatever, FA, wasn't there, and I feel like I need to do something. I don't know. If I do something, I will. I will make sure I make a video of it describing what's been going on, and then actually what's going to happen. Does that sound fair? I think so. Y'all, I got to tell y'all about epidemiology. It's epidemiology / biostatistics. It's numbers, man. It's numbers, it's ratios, numbers, proportions, how you add and divide and then relate one number to another number. And you're like, oh, that's like simple math. It is. But then when when they give you a set of numbers and then you've got 5 steps or 6, 7, 8 steps to get to a number, man, it's rough. It's just like, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I'm in like at the end of week 3, right? I don't know if it's just data interpretation, but it's starting to feel like that's the direction we're going. Because epidemiology is treating a population. Counting is the #1 epidemiological thing that you can do. You have to count all the things to know what's affecting the population. How you interpret those numbers will guide your treatment and your interventions. It's rough, man. I didn't think that there'd be that much math in this, because realistically, up to this point, if you're in healthcare, what do you have to do for math? Drug calculations. That's it, right? Drip rates, drug calculations, doses, amounts, like 1 to 2 step, maybe 3 step, 4 step calculations. And they're always going to be the same, relatable. I don't know, you work with medicine, so you're familiar with it. This is a whole different thing, like data sets. Funny story, I do think I stepped off on the wrong foot with one of the theory instructors, because in one of these papers we had to write, I talked about, it's like, use a personal experience or write about what you think science is, and use a personal experience to convey the message. And I was like, all right, cool, I got this. And I talked about how one time I had a parent accuse me of doing whatever I wanted to their child. And I didn't use the best verbiage and I didn't say the appropriate thing, but what I did say was, hey, if I was doing what I wanted to do, I'd be at the house. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here taking care of your kid. Your kid would have no one to take care of if I was doing what I was doing, what I wanted to do. Instead, I'm doing what I should be doing, and what the science says to do, what the research says to do, what our protocol says to do. I don't just come in here and poke them in the knee and go, yep, that cured their cancer. So no, I'm not doing whatever I want to do, or just whatever I want to do. Not the best answer, but that's what it was. But that's how I started my paper. That wasn't the whole thing about it, and that was like 4 years ago, man. Like, that's not me. I mean, it still is a little bit, but like, I would think I would handle that differently today. I don't know. Like, it's all situational, right? No, you should never talk like that. But like, I don't know if it's just Memphis, but if you have an irate patient, you have to, for me at least, I don't know, everyone has their own style. I explain, I do what I can, and if it still doesn't work, get on their level and meet them there. Meet them there like a bull. And that generally works for me. But every situation is different. You do you. In this scenario, that's what I did. I used it to open up this paper, and that's what this guy hammered in on. Like, his edit comment to my paper was like, it's nice, you should be more compassionate, hopefully you'll learn something as you go through your doctorate. I was like, I am compassionate. You missed the whole point. The point wasn't, hey, I got on to this mom. The point of that was like, hey, I thought science was just protocols and we know that XYZ works, so that's what we do. But my view has changed on that since we started reading this book about the history of science and the philosophy of science. That was the point of the paper. But it was just a swing and a miss, I guess. And again, grain of salt, I'm the student. It's just like going through like your preceptorship, like when you're getting precepted in the hospital. Everything you do is going to be wrong, right? Because that's what they're there for. They're there to make you better, so they have to look for something that's wrong. If everything was perfect, well then there'd be no room for growth. So grain of salt. But I hope I didn't get off on the wrong foot with the guy by just being realistic, because that's what you do in ERs. You meet them at their level and you don't take shit. That's it. I wish it was different, but it's not. That's the way it is. And that's how you excel and exceed in a trauma ER setting. Rural setting, even, here's the thing, even in the floors, like I worked somewhere on the floor as a nurse, in the county as a paramedic, you still have to meet them on the level. If it's a good old country boy, you meet them on the level. How you doing? How's the crop going? You know, you talk to them on their level, you explain the things on their level, and that's where you start. That's how you do it. Just so happened that woman was a little angry and irate. So I got a little angry and irate. Doesn't matter. We're getting a little off topic here. We're getting a lot off topic here. The whole point of this is getting better, nurse practitioner school, yada yada yada. You get it. As of right now, I've only gotten one paper back, which was the comment that the guy made on it, and then the grade on it, which was 100. That was also the same guy that sent the email changing the rubric the day before. So with these 3 fingers, I'm thinking he might be an issue or a problem maker. I don't know. But I still got 100 in that paper that he made the comment on and changed the rubric on. So I don't know. I can't complain about that. I'm still haven't gotten back my epidemiology paper, my economics, like you had to do like a video of yourself explaining stuff. There's another paper I wrote for theory on top of, I'm still waiting on that other paper back. And then the economics test. I got my epi test back, I got a 90. So like my grade in there is like a 95. So right now as it goes, I'm doing really well. I want to keep doing really well because I'm not here to see how it goes. I'm here to pass, get my F&P license, and then keep rolling. Failure is not an option. Simple as that. I will not be a bedside nurse in 3 years. Might be a farmer. Might be a DMP, but I will not be a bedside nurse. That's all I got, guys. Remember, always keep your corn on the cob.